and magnesium increase anxiety. You've got anxiety, you've heard about this magnesium soak that everyone's talking about, and they're saying, "Oh, I sleep better and my energy's better, and I think it's actually even helping regulate my hormones." And so you get excited because you have anxiety and you're like, "I want to feel calm. I'm going to use magnesium soak to decrease my anxiety." And so you soak in the magnesium, and after 20 minutes, your anxiety is worse. How frustrating is that? Incredibly frustrating. I'm so grateful that Bree wrote in so we could talk about this today because it can happen. Magnesium shines the light on what is happening in your body. And when this happens, there are very specific steps that we can take to mitigate and actually help you get to the point where magnesium is helping decrease anxiety symptoms. Now, my name's Kristen. I'm a magnesium advocate. I am not a doctor. I am not diagnosing. I'm not telling you what to do. You and I are here to have a conversation, to talk about ways that we can build a strong foundation and open the first gateway of help, which is a strong magnesium foundation of cell saturation at 6.3 or above. That opens the gateway to activate vitamin D. That's the foundation of all health. Those two things need to be in place: a rich magnesium environment and a strong vitamin D. And then we start looking at other things that are happening in our body. When you soak in magnesium and your anxiety gets worse, you're actually aggravated by it. Let's talk solutions. Magnesium activates 4,000 enzymatic processes in your body. 4,000. When I first started talking about magnesium back in Hyde Park in my little teeny basement kitchen, when I fell in love with magnesium and started talking to people about it, Western science said 300 enzymatic processes. And then a couple years later, they said, oh, actually, it's 900 enzymatic processes. The latest research shows 4,000 enzymatic processes. That's a lot. That's a lot that magnesium is needed to jumpstart all of those processes. And if you don't have enough magnesium, they're not going to happen. It's important to have that magnesium to give, the gas to those processes for them to happen. Okay, so let's set aside that information. And now we're going to hop over and talk a little bit about anxiety and burn rate. And then we're going to come back and connect the two to put some pieces together. Everyone has a magnesium burn rate. That's why I have a pet peeve. I will die on this hill. It is ridiculous to have an RDA of 400 milligrams a day for magnesium, because what if you're in a very stressful situation and your body needs more because you're burning through more magnesium? It's not taking that into account. What if you're like me and you have autoimmune disorder? You utilize more magnesium. What if you have anxiety? You have a higher magnesium burn rate. What if you have reoccurring migraines? You have an incredibly high magnesium burn rate because of those migraines. What if you have gut issues, which means you're not absorbing the magnesium, which means even when you're soaking, you're not getting the full benefit of the magnesium. 400 milligrams does not cover all of those things. Plus, let's add your eating habits on top of that. If you're eating a lot of processed foods and a lot of sugar and simple carbs burn up magnesium. And then let's talk about your stress levels. If you're not managing external stress and using things like journaling, deep breathing, meditation, Pilates, yoga, those types of things in your life, and you have a lot of stress at your job, maybe in your family, 400 milligrams isn't going to even begin to cut you getting to cell saturation. And you can't get there orally with a pill because you would have to take so much, it would cause more stomach issues to take that much. So that's why I love soaking in magnesium. And because I talk about it every day, people hear about it and they're like, oh, I want to try that magnesium. So you have anxiety and you realize, oh, the chill pill mineral, magnesium. When I have anxiety, I don't feel chill. And so I'm going to soak in magnesium. People who have anxiety have one of the highest burn rates. When you get that anxiety, and you may not show it on the outside, I've experienced some social anxiety, and nobody could tell that I was having complete anxiety on the inside because I've learned how to mask it. My burn rate was going through the roof. People who experience anxiety need more magnesium than most because that anxiety drains your magnesium levels. And then it takes a while for your cranial nerves to get back on track to function again. You need more magnesium than most. So you soak in magnesium. You soak for about 20 minutes, but it makes it worse. And then you get incredibly frustrated, incredibly discouraged because you've heard that this magnesium soak is the original chill pill mineral, and you wanted to experience some calm and walk away from anxiety, but it actually aggravated the anxiety. Okay, so there's a couple layers here that I want to talk about. And the first one is this. Let's go back to those enzymatic processes that magnesium starts. So think of me, we've had beautiful weather here on the Central California coast, and I live right by, I'm about, I don't know, 40 minutes from that Big Sur Highway 1 drive. And let's say I've got a picnic planned and we're going to go drive up Big Sur with the top down on the car. Super excited to do that. We go to get in the car, it won't start because there's no spark plug. There's no way I can do that. Magnesium is the spark plug for 4,000 enzymatic processes. So now let's go back to that person with anxiety. 4,000 enzymatic processes get turned on when you start soaking in magnesium. That's like going from a pedal bike to Apollo 10 that goes 24,000 miles an hour. That's a big jump from a pedal bike that you're pedaling up the hill to going to Mach speed. Sometimes your body isn't even in a position to manage that. And then if you pull on low potassium, you've got even more problems. Because if you're low in potassium, when you soak in magnesium, your body will drop your low potassium levels and run to pick up the magnesium because magnesium is the master mineral where you start. And it will pick up that magnesium and you'll feel even worse. And so, for someone who is experiencing, no, this is not a recording. I am live, RMC 36. I go live every day, not a recording. And let's say maybe your anxiety has got you down, your energy down, your voltage is down, and you're not getting enough potassium in through your food. And then you went from low energy pushing a pedal bike uphill to Mach speed of 24,000 miles an hour with your body kicking on all of those processes. It can seem like it's worse. There's a few things that we can do. Number one, remember, magnesium shines the light on what is happening in your body. Wouldn't it be nice if someone came to you and said, this is exactly what you need to do next that is most important for your body to heal? Well, I mean, think about it. How many things have you tried that your sister or your mom or your girlfriend tried and it worked for them and it didn't work for you? Wouldn't it be amazing if you had that blueprint? Magnesium is helping you. Magnesium shines the light on what you need. So, if that were me, because remember, I'm not a doctor, I'm not diagnosing, I need to keep restating that. So, the video will stay up and so I don't get reported. I'm not a doctor, I'm just sharing things that help me put my health back together. I am a magnesium advocate and I'm passionate about helping people achieve cell saturation and activate their vitamin D levels. So, if that were to happen to me, I would stop the soak. I would take a break from soaking. I would focus on my hydration with salt water because salt gives you that boost of electrolytes. I would make sure I was drinking that first thing in the morning, and I would see and track how much potassium I was getting through my diet. When you don't have enough potassium, how can you jumpstart all of those things that magnesium is jumpstarting for you? And if you've had that anxiety for a long time, it's worn you down and you're tired and it's tightened everything up. And you might even have become calcium dominant. And when we're calcium dominant, things start going off. We need to create a magnesium rich environment, not a calcium dominant environment. But when we have anxiety and autoimmune and external stress, and maybe we ate our feelings with that cupcake and a pile of icing, all of those things are increasing our magnesium burn rate. So, stopping, evaluating what is magnesium shining the light on in my body? I might be calcium dominant. I need to break that up. Magnesium will help me to break that up, but to do so, I need a hydrated body. So, adding a pinch of salt, whatever is appropriate for you, in your water and drinking that in the morning is a beautiful way to start your body strong with electrolytes. Getting red light. Red light therapy has more studies done on it than I think any other light, but you don't have to go buy an expensive red light machine. That first 2 hours of the sun coming up in the morning is the original red light that we learned how powerful red light is. And there's lots of machines out there, and I'm sure many of them are great, but we have not matched the quality of the sun's red light. So getting outside for even 15 minutes and letting that red light hit your eye so your body, your pineal gland can uptake that red light, decreases inflammation, and will help so that the magnesium can be more beneficial to you. And then looking at your foods and determining how much potassium am I getting? Now, I did it old school. My old school grandma brain went to pen and paper and I would track it and calculate. But guess what? There's apps that you can use on your phone that you can put in what food you ate and it will give you back how much potassium you got. Most people are between 12 and 1800 when they test their potassium levels, and that's not nearly enough potassium. That's deficiency. And so we've got to make sure you're getting that potassium. Now, one really quick way that you can up your potassium levels is to take some orange juice. I like fresh. Take It doesn't have to be fresh. I love squeezing fresh orange juice. It reminds me of when I was a little girl, that was my job to make the orange juice, fresh orange juice, and then putting a teaspoon of cream of tartar in it. The orange juice has about 400 milligrams of potassium, and the cream of tartar, 1 teaspoon, has about 500 milligrams of potassium. So right there, you've got about 900 milligrams of potassium. Remember though, that cream of tartar is synthetic potassium. Synthetic potassium is not as good as whole food potassium. Sylvia, I love that you're buying the coconuts and drinking the water. That is a beautiful source of potassium. That's the best source of potassium coming from that coconut. Now, I don't always have coconuts. Every once in a while I do. I don't have them every day. And so I use coconut water. Harmless Harvest is my favorite. And that potassium, that liquid potassium, whether it's from a bottle of potassium, whether it's from orange juice and cream of tartar, whether it's whole food potassium from that coconut, is going to quickly get your potassium levels up. And then the next time I soaked, I would do half a dose and see how I manage it. And if it started to increase my anxiety again, I would stop. And I would spend, like, let's say last time you spent 4 days working on your potassium and hydration, I would work 8 days on potassium and hydration and electrolytes before I soaked again. Potassium bicarbonate, absolutely, but remember, it's synthetic. And so the best source, and the one reason I like to say cream of tartar is because a lot of people will have that in their spice. I think there's a cookie my mom used to make. Was it a snickerdoodle? I think it's a snickerdoodle my mom used to make that you had to have cream of tartar. So a lot of kitchens, they'll have cream of tartar, not realizing that that is a potassium source and we want it to work for you. So maybe you're like Sylvia and you've got coconuts in your kitchen and you can break them open and drink that. Beautiful. Maybe you're like me and you don't have that in your kitchen very often. And so you go to Costco and you grab some Harmless Harvest and drink coconut water. Maybe you're a juicer and you juice celery juice. That is incredible amounts of potassium. Maybe you're going to go really simple, really fast, really easy to fit it in your life, and you do some Simply Orange and some cream of tartar. Remember, there's optimal and there's real life. Right now in my life, I cannot do what Sylvia is doing. I love what Sylvia is doing and it's optimal, but if I can't make it fit in my life, I'm not going to get healthier. And I think sometimes we can buy into it has to be perfect. Every single thing that we do has to be perfect. Optimal. I don't live perfect all the time. And so remember, optimal is there, real life is there, and real life choices can still get you to optimal health. So don't put that pressure of, oh my gosh, now I've got to have fresh coconuts and I've got to make sure I have one every day to get the water. It's great if you want to go explore that and buy a coconut and do it. Pick what works for you to get that hydration up, to give yourself that salt water in the morning to really charge your electrolytes and start your day strong. I drink that salt water before my feet even hit the floor. I make it the night before. I reach over, it's in a little covered carafe. I reach over, I pour it, and I drink it before my feet hit the floor. I'm giving my body that surge of electrolytes. It's so incredibly powerful. And for a lot of people, it's such a game changer. They can't imagine going without that. And they even do it when they travel because it makes such a difference in their basic electrolyte panel. And then I would try soaking in half a dose of magnesium and see how you're doing because we want magnesium rich environment in a body that is experiencing anxiety. And the anxiety will burn through that magnesium so quickly. And we want you to experience that chill that magnesium can bring on. Um, Cheryl Lynn. Oh, where did that go? Oh, there it is. Cheryl, Sherilyn, I hope I'm saying that right. How about putting it in your bath? The thing about potassium is it depends on the size of the molecule if it can be absorbed through the skin, and potassium's is too big. And so we don't absorb potassium through our skin. And so that one needs to be oral. No, I do not use Himalayan pink salt because much of it I try to make, and please know, not all of my purchases are optimal. I do when I become aware of a situation, I do try to make the most ethical choice that I can. So for example, I wear all thrifted clothes because so many of our clothes, we take them to the thrift store, we think we're donating them, but in actuality, only about 25% of those clothes are actually purchased at the thrift store, and the rest goes to landfills. And so that's a choice that I've made personally to thrift my jewelry. I even thrift my shoes now, my clothes, because for me, it's a more ethical choice. So I'm always trying to make the most ethical choices that I can. And once I learned that most of the Himalayan pink salt is mined in unethical ways using children, and that much of it is altered by the time it comes to our country, and it's not the true Himalayan pink salt. So for me, pink Himalayan salt is not a good fit. I much prefer Selena naturally. It also has more minerals, and that's the reason I'm getting salt is for the sodium, but I also want the minerals that accompany the sodium. And so the Selena naturally coarse ground salt, you can actually put the grains in your hand and you can see the purples and the blues and the grays of the mineral in that salt. And I've spoken with Selena herself. She's a delightful person and runs her business very similar to how I run Living the Good Life Naturally. How her team is treated is very important to her. And she creates an environment that they can thrive in as a team to produce this salt, and they dry it, and it does not involve the use of children like the pink Himalayan salt does, and things are not added to it. So for me, the Selena Naturally salt is the most ethical salt and the highest in mineral to take in my body. And so that's 100% the type of salt that I use. And here's the thing, if you're using Himalayan pink salt and you love it, we can have different options and still communicate. And I'm really sold on that Selena Naturally salt, and I I really want to support companies that are growing in a way that really supports people and how things are manufactured. That's so important to me. Oh, Sylvia, I did not know that you were a thrifter. Okay, can anybody notice my cute hat? Look at that hat on my mannequin. Now, the stem for my mannequin still has not come. I bought it on eBay, still has not come. So she's kind of half put together, but I thrifted that hat. I love it. I love vintage hats. And I think it is so cute. So I put that little hat on my mannequin, but I didn't know you love to thrift, Sylvia. I love that. Okay, so on how much salt, Pam, that you put in your water, it absolutely depends on your body. No one can tell you how much salt to do. It depends on your thyroid function. It depends on how much fast food you eat, how much canned food you eat, how much processed food you eat, your adrenals, so there's so many factors in that. And I was watching Leanne, a client and a dear friend, and she was playing with her salt trying to figure it out, and I found it really interesting. She almost had to get too much salt one day to understand how much salt her body needed. Now, we don't want fingers swelling and retaining water because of too much sodium, and so for some, it'll be a little pinch. For me, it's like big pinches. My body does well on that, but it will be such an individual choice for each person. Oh, you're so welcome, Meryl. You're so, so very welcome. Yes, I will be, Tanya, that's it's my whole goal. So, I realized I kind of had been showing this inauthentic version on social media. I wasn't really being me, and I have to admit, I had something that came up about sharing thrifted clothes, like, "Oh, well, people," because I do, I even thrift my shoes, I alcohol them and I make them clean. I wondered what people would thought, and I was afraid of that, and so I challenged myself because I don't wanna make decisions based of fear, and it's really important to me to be super authentic, and so I realized I'm going to share a little bit more of me and who I am and what I love and make that a part of my experience when when I go live, and so I love clothes. Like, let me say it again, I love clothes. I used to when I was a little girl, my mom would sew my dresses, and so I'd get to pick my pattern and my material and what lace I wanted on it, and I have a picture of me in my very favorite dress, and she wanted to do it in this really floral, and I wanted it in houndstooth, and I still to this day love houndstooth. And so she did, and I wanted little pearl buttons, and I still to this day love pearls. And so I thought, "Oh, I'm gonna have more fun instead of just, you know, being so like this." And so I'm going to start dressing my mannequin in some of my favorite thrift finds, and that hat is the first thing I put on her. I found that hat last week, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's got great little pearls on it. So that'll be fun. Oh, oh, I Pam, one of the things that I did, I worked with a lady because I love lots of different styles, and I'll see someone like, "Oh, that's so beautiful," and then I'd put it on, I'd be like, "Oh, this isn't me." And so I took a class from her, and she really has you takes you through a process to learn your own personal style. And one of the things for me that I love a clean line, but I also love an edge to it, and I love juxtaposition. I love, like, putting so for example, the other day I wore a pink tulle skirt with some little flat ballerina looking shoes, and then I put a leather jacket on the top with pearls. So I love like that opposite and kind of putting something unexpected with it. And it it actually has been so fun for me, and instead of dreading getting dressed, like, "Oh, what am I gonna wear?" I go to my closet and play dress up now, and it's interesting, I was reading a book, oh, and I can't remember the name of it, and it was, oh, I will find the book. Oh, you're so kind, Meryl, thank you. You are so kind. But the book talked about women who are truly the happiest in the menopausal phase, and that's where I'm at, are the ones who have tapped into the things that they loved as a little girl. And that quote in her book got me thinking, and I was just like, I'm not tapped into the things I loved as a little girl. And I loved playing dress up and I loved clothes and putting different things together. That experience of standing by my mom, she sewed all my clothes. She was amazing. And standing by my mom and helping to pick those things out was a very creative process for me. And I kind of walked away from that. I let other people determine that, oh, that looks silly together or that doesn't match. And I realized I was dressing for other people instead of dressing for me. And when I switched that, it actually brought my magnesium burn rate down. I'm not dressing for somebody else. I'm dressing with things that I love and that I feel strong and powerful in. And in getting back to those things that I loved as a little girl, I've actually I'm soaking less often, and that's my goal for people. I want you to optimize your life in a way that you don't have to soak every day, that you're maintaining your cell saturation through minimal soaking and loving your life and bringing those 2 things together. And so I thought, I'm going to show how I'm doing that, and that little mannequin and that hat is part of it. So Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's very is that was that are you referring to the book? I don't think it was I don't maybe they had quoted that I don't know. I'm not sure, but I don't think it was that person, but maybe the book I read was quoting. Maybe the original quote is from that. Oh, thank you. Now, I want to share with you a couple things that are coming up. I totally royally messed up last week. So I was so excited. I love Caddis glasses. I've worn them for years. I love them. They help junk the or block the junk light. And when you do that, it increases your melatonin and it helps to balance your circadian rhythm, which is so important for a low magnesium burn rate and balanced hormones. And it's not just a plastic coating, it's in the glass and they're so much better. Like I have this cute little pair and they were just a cheapy pair from Amazon, but it's just a plastic coating and it's nothing to what my Caddis glasses do. Well, Caddis, the company, reached out to me and just said, "Thank you for we've noticed you've been tagging our company for years, telling people where you got your glasses. We just want to say thank you." You guys, they sent they sent me a box. They said, "We want to send you a pair of glasses." And there's more. I can't even get them all in my hands. They sent this massive box. And look, all of their boxes, their packaging is so beautiful. And it's a different artist, each box. And it comes in a bag that goes with, let's see, I think that one goes, oh, maybe with this one down here. They send it with a bag and a little to keep your glasses clean. They sent me so many. I thought I'd share. And so I sent out a text, I sent out an email, and then the router on our internet went down and I couldn't so I ran to Starbucks to try to, because they've got public internet. So I drove really fast over there. They didn't have enough for me to go live. I was like, "Oh my gosh." I didn't even have enough internet because I'd used so much data. Verizon slowed down my data. I couldn't even send an email to say, "I'm so sorry, the live is not happening." So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give away 6 pair. That's how gracious the company was. And please know when they sent it to me, they did not um they did not they did not say, "Oh, you have to do this, you have to tag us, you have to talk about them." Is all they did is they said, "We want to send you glasses. Thank you so much." And you already know I had quite a few pair, had more than one. I think I have like 6 or 7. And then they sent me like this isn't even all of them that they sent me. So, Friday favorites, this Friday, I will be giving away glasses. I will be giving them away. And so I hope you don't miss Friday favorites because I have a lot of glasses to share because of Caddis, their website. So you can go check them out. A couple people have already gotten on and purchased. Um, Someone got the Bixby in light pink. You can go check out their website. It's everything I've ever wanted my website to be. It's caddislife.com, Caddis life.com, and they have the coolest function on their website. They have the coolest thing that you can actually do a virtual try on. Because when you're on a website, you're like, well, how does that look on my face? I can't really imagine that. I need to see it. And for example, I never would this is a pair that they gave me. I never would have even looked at these. And they're my favorite. I love them. I just absolutely love them. And so you can actually go try on the glasses. The other thing that they have is I have a little bit of a reader in my glasses. And so you can put your prescription in the glasses. You can add a little bit of reader. You can get straight blue light. I have sunglasses from them with a little bit of a reader in. they're just amazing, and each pair of glasses, it will tell you the frame, like the size of the frame. This is a smaller frame. I like bigger ones, and so it'll tell you this is a medium frame, this is a larger frame. Anyway, they're an amazing company, and I'm really excited to be able to share because truly, I think the count puts me up to 20 pair of glasses, and that's a lot of glasses, and so I thought, "I bet I have some people who would maybe want are as passionate about junk light as I am," because we know that um, junk light is messing with our circadian rhythm. Oh, I love that you serve the homeless. Oh. Oh, here's the thing, Meryl, you will not have to be live. Okay, so at I oh gosh, I should have planned this out better. So here's what I learned. I was going to give it away live on the live. But a lot of people reached out and said, "Oh, I'm doing this," or "My daughter has a ballet recital and there was a piano recital and you serving the homeless." So I'll wait 24 hours for those comments to come in because you know it's happening on Friday. And so maybe when you were done with your volunteer work, which I think is beautiful, and I thank you, the homeless population where I'm at is just getting bigger. And so I thank you for that volunteer work that you're doing. And so that way you could get on and it wouldn't stop someone from being a part of the giveaway. So I I kind of jumped in there. I haven't done this a lot before, so I jumped in and did it without really thinking. And so I've pulled back and I'm doing it in a way that more people can be a part of it because I do have like 6 pair to give away. And gift giving is my love language. And I don't know if I can claim it as me gift giving because it was given to me. Anyway, we're going to have fun on Friday. And then tomorrow is Tuesday tips, and we're covering all things allergies. So many people are struggling with allergies because of all the rain that so many of us have had, and the pollen count is so high. So, tomorrow, all things allergies. And then I also wanted you to know this week that you're very kind. This week, I am, I really want to create community, and I haven't really talked about that in the past. I want to create a place where people feel comfortable coming and sharing and asking questions and sharing input, and me asking questions and me sharing input, and have that back and forth, not just me talking, but that beautiful back and forth. And so, one of the things that I'll be doing every day that I have internet to go live, so crossing our fingers, the router, I might have to replace it, but I just got it a year ago and it was expensive, so I'm hoping I don't have to replace it. Every day I go live, I will go after in the comments and just pick one person that's helping me create community and send them a jug of magnesium. And so, for those that are watching this as a recording, today's May 22nd. It's Monday, May 22nd, and I'll be doing it every day this week that I'm able to go live. And so, I will, in the comments after I'm off and after I get everything all tallied and all the things followed up that I do after my lives, Shelly has a little book for me that I keep notes in and then I write write everything. So after I get all of those things done for Shelly so that she can find the topics that I've talked about, I'll just get on and say, "Hey, um, thank you so much. Please, DM us your name and address, and Shelly will make sure that a 32-ounce bottle of magnesium is sent to you." Now, 2 weeks ago, I was doing lots of giveaways, and I didn't have a system, and so it took me almost 2 weeks to get caught up on them, and so this system with Shelly involved is going to be faster. So hooray for Shelly and helping. Oh, Janie, my mother-in-law was from Atlanta, and we got talking to my girls, and they've never been there. And I want to take them back to Atlanta and just give them a little taste of the culture and the history that my mother-in-law grew up in and was so influenced by and learned how to cook. Oh my gosh, can that woman cook? Okay, let's do some questions. So, Sunshine, I love that name. I just purchased all the products and I want to do the 30-day challenge. Is the quarter cup of magnesium soak effective in a full tub of water, or does it need to be half filled, or does it require more soak? I'm so glad that you asked this question because my goal is that you use the minimum amount of magnesium for maximum benefit. Minimum magnesium, maximum benefit. I did so much testing on this with thermal imaging, and when you soak in a bathtub, it is as effective as soaking in a bowl of water. Once you get to a three-person bathtub, you know, the size, that much water, you would have to add much more magnesium to pull the magnesium in because of the amount of water. But in a regular bathtub in your home, you still only need a quarter of a cup. So you don't need more. And a lot of times you'll hear me say, don't use a plastic bowl. And then we look at the plastic tub and go, wait a minute, can I not use my tub because I'm sure it's got some kind of plastic sprayed on it? So I've tested that also, and it's the molded plastic of a bowl. The spray on coating or fiberglass tub does not stop the uptake at all. So avoiding calcium, if you are calcium, oh, your RBC mag is at 3.8. Okay, so, okay, this, okay. First of all, I'm not a doctor and I know Mira knows that. I just need to say that publicly again. I'm not diagnosing. I'm sharing some thoughts and Mira is going to make the best decision for her. So Sunshine, you use, let's see, yeah. And so you're good in your tub unless it's like a huge mega three-person jacuzzi tub. You are good with just a quarter of a cup. So Mira, on this one, a 3.8 mag can be discouraging to get after you're soaking. That can be really discouraging. Here's what I want to share. Now you know there's a crack in your foundation, and figuring that out and putting that together versus soaking for a year and not knowing your body's not uptaking that magnesium efficiently enough to utilize. I personally wouldn't continue soaking in magnesium until you've got a couple things put together. And there's a lot of things that it could be. I'll go over them briefly. The biggest thing is hydrochloric acid in your stomach. And so doing a betaine protocol, if appropriate for you, if you have stomach ulcers, a betaine protocol will aggravate it. Another simple thing is adding taurine. Taurine helps hold the magnesium in the cell, upping your B vitamins. B vitamins open the door for the magnesium to get in the cell. Oops. I sometimes forget to push that lock button on my standing desk, and so all of a sudden my desk starts to move. Um, we need to look at taurine and boron. We need to look at sugar consumption, a simple carb consumption. Another place that you can look, think of someone that you know that rages, that, you know, and you physically, when someone has a rage gauge, you know they have a rage gauge. And we know when they're in that rage gauge, they are losing their magnesium. A lot of women don't realize that the shame spiral, you lose magnesium to the extent that that rage is losing magnesium. The rage gauge is external and you can see it. The shame spiral is internal and most people don't see it. Really evaluate your patterns. Perfectionism, does that drive you? People pleasing, does that drive you? Do you experience shame spirals? Is there, so looking at that could be, it might not be, but it could be a part of that solution. So there are some places that we'd need to look at: hydration, how much sleep you're getting, progesterone levels. So it takes a little bit of digging and a little bit of investigation. And if you can, and I don't want to be toxic about it. So for example, when my husband had his legs amputated, he literally decided in the hospital, because he saw this guy being really ornery, and he decided, I'm not being that way. And he literally flipped a switch, and he's had nothing but gratitude ever since. He's like, I can't change that my legs are gone. I'm really grateful. I have my hands, I have my brain, I breathe, my heart beats. And literally, now for me, I tried to do that along with him. I admired that. Guess what? It didn't work for me. I needed to mourn. I needed to mourn that we don't go kayaking together anymore. We don't go hiking anymore. We don't walk side by side anymore. His prosthetics are not comfortable, what our insurance will pay for. I had to mourn that. And so trying to process it like he did, I actually pushed down all those feelings and increased my magnesium burn rate. And it was very toxic because I was trying to be something that I wasn't. I was sad, I was frustrated, I felt lost, and I needed to process those emotions, not push him down and pretend like, "Oh, yeah, I'm so grateful that because I was sad. There were so many things in our relationship that had to change. And so I don't wanna be toxic in what I'm about to say. You have to mourn that 3.8. It can be frustrating, it can be sad, and only you can choose how long you need to mourn that. No one else can tell you. Like if I were to say, "Okay, Mira, you've got a week to mourn that." That not appropriate for me to tell you that. I needed longer than a week to mourn. And there is no wrong date. It's what's right for you. Here's what I hope you will do: set a date that you're done being sad or frustrated or whatever that initial emotion that came up with that 3.8. Set a date that you will be done. And until then, completely lean in and embrace that emotion. Think of it like a little child, like a 2 or 3-year-old that is just having a hard time. What do you do to that child? I'm a grandma. I love them. I figure out, what can I do? What can I do externally to be a part of this solution? And I bring them in and I love on them. I want you to treat that emotion, whether it was frustration, sadness, anger, madness. There's no wrong emotion and there's no timeline other than what's right for you. Embrace whatever it is, but set the timeline, embrace the emotion, feel it. Don't feel shame over it. It's how you act on the emotion that matters. And then when that's done, start picking up those pieces and putting together where your foundation has a crack in it. And you might have five, I think of it like a stone. You might have five stones that you turn over and they don't work. It's not what you need. And we can either be upset and give up, or we can look at that and go, oh, I don't have to turn this stone over again. I'm done. I know this doesn't work. I'm moving on to the next. And that's the process of rebuilding that foundation. And so it's a very individual journey for each of us. And keep showing up, and we'll walk through those pieces. And I am putting together a VIP day that we could dig into it a little bit more. But that's the community that I want to build here, is supporting each other. And it's only a certain extent. It's not like a one-on-one that I can do with someone, but I do want people to feel that support when they come here. And so Mira, I hope that those few insights help support you on your journey. Oh, Aubrey, I would love to have a subscription too. So here's what's holding me back from doing a subscription box. My website is on Shopify, and I pay the mid-tier. There's 3 tiers on Shopify. The next tier is thousands and thousands more a month, like huge a month. And that tier, I could get subscriptions. And I just can't justify paying it because it would have to it's so much more a month. It would have to increase the price of magnesium, and I do everything I can to keep it low. And as I can see, our sales have just, like, quadrupled over the last 12 weeks, more than quadrupled. I do see the day coming that I have enough sales that I can go to that next level, but because, like, all the stock that I hold, I've already paid for. I don't do anything on credit and then sell it like most companies do because I don't wanna feel pressure to sell something to you because I owe money, and so I've always paid for things as it lands in my warehouse, so everything in my warehouse is paid for. I don't have to worry about this bill coming due, and I don't have to feel pressure, that I've gotta get this done, and so the way that I've built my business helps me sleep at night, but I also recognize I don't have the greatest website, and I don't have subscription. But we are working it and we're doing our best and doing it in a way that's ethical for how my heart and brain work and doing it in a way that I can sleep at night, not worrying that oh my gosh, I've got to get on and really push magnesium because I've got this big bill to pay because everything that I have, I've already paid for. So eventually we'll get there. And it's one of the top priorities. But right now, it's just not feasible for us as a company. Oh my gosh. I love that, and someday it will. Like, if you ever my gosh, if you ever would have told me that we would have a standing order every 2 weeks for 20 cubic containers of magnesium, I couldn't even have imagined that. Like, we used to get one and park it in my driveway, and the neighborhood kids would help us and my kids and would fill the magnesium. I mean, it I never would have imagined that we would just have a standing order that 20 come every 2 weeks. And so we will get there, and I so appreciate that attitude. Thank you. I Some people get frustrated, and I understand. I also understand I have to run the business in a way that it doesn't impact my sleep, that I don't, you know, I don't have to worry about that. And the cool thing about that is because I pay cash, shipping is gone. Like what used to cost me 3,000 to ship is now like 18 to 22,000. Shipping prices have just gone insane. And because I pay cash at time, I've been able to like, "Hey, I'll pay you cash right now. There's no 90 days out, 120 days out. I've got cash right now to pay you." And so they're giving me better prices on shipping because of that. And so it's actually helped us not have to put that price increase to reflect that seems ridiculous to me shipping costs that have just gone through the roof the last 2.5 years. So thank you. I love that reminder on your phone. Okay. Yes, this is Tanya. If somebody needed that, thank you so much. I think it was maybe Janie. So Tanya, thank you for throwing that up. I have on my website the exact test that I use and have used for over 20 years. There's several different ways to test. There's several different RBC tests, and this one is the most accurate. And so you can go to livingthegoodlifenaturally.com, click on learn, and then in that panel, it's there. And so let's see. Let's see. Oh, sunshine. We got that question. Okay. So um, Tuesday, we are doing allergies tomorrow. It's all Is anybody experiencing allergies? Like, I am getting so many emails about it. So we're doing all allergies tomorrow. I haven't planned Wednesday or Thursday, but Friday is caddis. You don't have to be on live. And then remember, every day this week, I will be sharing a jug of magnesium, just saying thank you for those that I see you, and thank you for helping me create that community and that give receive. It makes the lives so much easier for me personally, instead of just like, oh, what are they needing? I can't see their faces. And so it really is helpful to me. And I want to make sure I'm saying thank you like Caddis is. I'm not quite at the point I can give away as much as Caddis, but I'll do as much as I can and still keep that cost low. So it was great being with you guys today, and I'll see you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific, every day, Monday through Friday, when I have internet. So hopefully it'll be every day this week. Bye, guys. And they're seriously, I mean, look at the packaging. Look at that. And you open it up and it's just so beautiful. So Friday, it's coming Friday, people. I'm so excited.